maketh man. Do you know what that means? Then let me teach you a lesson. What's up, everybody? My name is Cal, and I couldn't resist wearing one of these things because today I'm going to be reviewing Kingsman: The Golden Circle. So Kingsman: The Golden Circle is the sequel to Secret Service, which came out back in 2014-2015, directed by Matthew Vaughn. He's once again back directing the sequel, Golden Circle. And it's basically, if you're not familiar with Kingsman, it's basically a modern day equivalent to James Bond, a spy movie. What happens if James Bond meets Kick-Ass in a way? And it's about a boy learning to become a man, a thug learning to become a gentleman spy, but in a new kind of era and a comic book style way. So, The Golden Circle is the sequel, and after the Kingsman HQ is catastrophically destroyed, the Kingsmen resort to turning to their American cousins, the Statesmen, for help. Upon arrival, the Kingsmen and Statesmen discover that an evil drug lord is poisoning her drug produce and is keeping the world hostage. So can the Kingsmen and the Statesmen team up together and fight this evil drug lord together? So what are the characters like in this movie? So we've got Eggsy, played by Taron Egerton, and he was brilliant in the first movie. Of course, it was about him learning to become a gentleman spy, growing up a bit. And in this movie, he's got a lot to do. He's got a lot of growing up to do and more maturing to do, as, you know, he's got to fill the role of Harry Hart, who Colin Firth plays, and he died in the first movie. So he's not only got to replace him, he's got to grow up more, learn to deal with new responsibilities, and he's a very strong character, always determined to fight and support the Kingsman as best he can. And I do like Eggsy in this film as well. Of course, Colin Firth is back as Harry Hart. He's not dead. If you've seen the trailers, you'll know that by now. And it's interesting how they kind of come about, how he comes back alive. The Statesmen find his location, and they discover that he's some sort of part of some sort of spy organization or something. So they revive him with these weird chemical gases, but he has amnesia, so he doesn't really know who he is. But of course, when the Kingsmen arrive, and after several days, he then realizes who he is, thanks to Eggsy and Mr. Pickle. And but he's not himself anymore. He's not the old Harry Hart that everyone once knew. Yeah, he's still got his skills, but he's not quite the same, which is kind of a shame in a way. But I guess if the attention has to divert to Eggsy, it makes kind of sense in a way. So the Statesmen. So I'm going to briefly talk about a few of them. You've got Champ, who is played by Jeff Bridges. He's kind of the authority leader of the Statesmen in a way. He's just giving out orders and telling people what to do. He was briefly in it, and he was a good character in that. You've got Agent Tequila, played by Channing Tatum. In the sequences he was pretty good in them. Not in it that much, which is a shame, but I have high hopes that he may be in a third movie or a spin-off. You've got Ginger Ale, who's kind of the brains. She's basically the Merlin of the American Statesman, and she was pretty good, and I do like her character and like to see what they do with her in future films perhaps. And then of course you got someone I want to talk about, Agent Whiskey, played by Pedro Pascal, and he's gotta be a favourite. He's a good character. He's just really cool, especially when they're in Italy, taking out those Italian guards, and he just decides to fight them on his own while Eggsy and Harry are hiding in that shack, and he's just flipping his revolver around, shooting people, gets his electric lasso, cuts people in half. Brilliant character. Although his ending is a bit of a disappointment, really kind of sad in a way, because he was a good character. Then at the end it was quite unfortunate. You know, he didn't really want to save the world from this evil drug lord and give the people that took her drugs the antidote to cure them, as he had a backstory that his wife was murdered by these meth addicts, so her and his unborn baby were killed, so he doesn't really want drug addicts. And then of course he dies because Eggsy and Harry decide to put him in a mincer machine thing. And I thought, okay, that's just a bit too much, but hey, it's a Kingsman movie, so why not? So Julianne Moore plays Poppy, the villain of the film, the main villain at least, and she's the evil drug lord. She's keeping the world hostage, so the people that have used her drugs are poisoned, and she has the antidote for it, and in return she wants to legalize drugs and be able to sell her drugs without hiding, and she's got some strong motives. I describe her as sinister but strange. So the way she's hiding out, she's made like a Poppy Land, like a 50s themed nostalgia era thing, which was quite weird in a way, just in the middle of nowhere, but kind of cool as well. And she's just very sinister. In the first sequence she's in, she tells a guy to put another guy in a mincer machine, and you just see it and it's like, okay. And then she just uses his meat to make hamburgers. So she's a cannibal, and she was just happy to do it. Yeah, after meat, yeah, human meat. Why not? She was a good villain, but I did prefer Samuel L. Jackson's Valentine from The Secret Service, the first movie. I just preferred him more in a way. Her death was a bit odd, but I guess it was kind of karma. She got killed by her own drug, which was only fair. So the good points of this film, well, the action sequences were well done once again. So if you wanted to see those action sequences that we saw in The Secret Service, you won't be disappointed with this film. There's plenty of them. They're well choreographed, of course. There's plenty of CGI in this movie, the like of Charlie and his mechanical arm. Certain fast-paced action sequences up close seem a bit CGI, but that's expected. The robot dogs, Benny and Jets, why not? The fast-paced cinematography was good. I liked how it was all quite chaotic and handheld, up close with the characters while they're fighting each other, really nice. The music suited the tone of the film, upbeat, fast-paced. Elton John. Elton John starred. Elton John appeared in this film, of course, but I thought he wasn't really a glorified cameo, he was more of his own character. And he really did steal some of the scenes in this film, but I think they put him in a bit too much. So I thought at first, yeah, Elton John in this is so funny. It was really hilarious. In one particular sequence when Poppy's doing an advert showing how she's got an antidote to save people, and then he's in the background telling this guard to get out of his room. Really funny. But he just appeared a bit too much in this film, especially at the end. I'm just like, okay, he's still here. He's still trying to steal the limelight from the Kingsman. Okay, fair enough. Kind of a bit unnecessary, but Elton John is Elton John. My favourite sequence in this film has got to be the opening with the taxi car chase. So Charlie ambushes Eggsy and they have this big fight in a taxi, and then while they're fighting, the Prince Let's Get Crazy plays, and I think that just suits the whole sort of setting in the streets of London at night in a black cab and getting chased by 3 other cars, fighting each other. It worked all very well together. The cinematography, the editing, very well put together in that sequence. And I loved how the taxi converted from a normal cab to some sort of sports car and then a submarine at the end, which was a reference to James Bond because the Lotus Esprit in that became a submarine at the end, which was cool. And the bombs at the end, how Eggsy destroys those 3 cars, which were really cool as well. It felt a bit CGI'd, which is okay actually. Quite comic book-like, a bit like the Harry Potter night bus sequence. When the night bus is moving around London really rapidly, like the taxi was doing the same thing, which was quite nice. So, any bad points of this film? Well, I guess the deaths in this movie weren't very justified. So, Roxy sadly died, Brandon, one of Eggsy's friends, JB died, Merlin died. It was quite sad, especially when Merlin died, but there wasn't really much justification. They all just were killed. Yeah, Eggsy was sad and he got his vengeance on Charlie. He was like, this is for all of them. But there wasn't really like a graveyard sequence or them kind of tearing up a bit too much. I mean, they were drinking for these people, but you know, there wasn't like, oh, like they weren't at peace in a way, just saying goodbyes to them properly, sort of thing. Maybe like a brief sequence would have been nice, but you know, I didn't like it when they killed Merlin. I was just like, no, Merlin's done so much for Eggsy and Harry, you have to kill him, why? Kind of thing. Really did like Merlin's character. Also, another point, with sequels, you know, there's either a 50-50 chance that it can be better than the original, like Spider-Man 2 was, or it could be quite bad, like Thor: The Dark World. And with this movie, it wasn't as good as the first movie. Some sequences were a bit unnecessary, you know, some of the Elton John bits, but I'm okay with that. The manners maketh man sequence. So when Harry finally comes back, then he gets ambushed in a bar by these guys giving him a hard time. So he's like, manners maketh man. And then I kind of cringed at that. I was like, do you really need to do this again, kind of thing? And it's either going to go two ways. One, he's going to beat the crap out of all these guys and it's like, yeah, but unnecessary. Or two, he doesn't succeed and he gets beaten up by the guys, which actually kind of happened in a way. It didn't really need to happen, but they decided to put it in. But overall, it was just, I felt like something was missing from the sequel that the original had. So in conclusion, Kingsman: The Golden Circle is another great hit from Matthew Vaughn. Plenty of action, thrills and kicks. Plenty of spy action. Princess Tilda's in it again. And there are pug dogs once more. I kind of think that the original movie was a lot better in a way. Something was missing from this movie, but it's hard to put my finger on it as to what it is. It's just maybe the original just was a way better, you know, the whole premise of it all. But this wasn't a bad effort. I'd have to give Kingsman: The Golden Circle an 8 out of 10. Not as good as the sequel, but not terrible at all, really. So comment below what you thought of The Golden Circle. What did you like? What did you not like? Your favourite characters? What do you think of the Statesman? Are they any good? Do you think they're better than the Kingsman? And what would you rather be, a Kingsman or a Statesman? I'm wearing this blazer, so I'd definitely be a Kingsman. And do you think there'll be a third movie? Because at the end, Channing Tatum's Agent Tequila does come to London dressed up in a suit and a bowler hat and walks past the Kingsman store. So something's happening at least. But what? Comment below what you think may happen. Like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys soon. Bye.